MAI Code 1.1 Flash is now out across GitHub Copilot, and there's a lot of great things about it. Better token efficiency, lower cost, all those things that we welcome as we work with agentic coding. So I've already done a video on the 1.0 version, the initial release that came out, and in this version we're going to try 1.1 and do the same type of thing, see how it goes. So one of the things that caught my attention when I looked at the post, and I'll put a link up here for you so you can get to it, is better, faster, but quarter of the cost. That's actually pretty impressive because 1.0 just recently came out. So if you're using GitHub Copilot, that's actually pretty attractive, less AI credits. So I'm going to run it through and we'll try this out. We'll kind of see what it generates, because to me, that's always the test. When I did the 1.0 version of this, we ran it through kind of a weather app scenario. I'm going to do the exact same thing. The idea here isn't so much to compare models, because I've also done this with Grok 4.5, for example. It's more of just to see how speedy was it, what were the AI tokens used, those type of things. With that, I'm going to jump over to this GitHub Copilot Get Started repo. And what I'm going to do this time is actually give it a full plan. And so I have this main plan.markdown here. I'm just going to go to the raw. And let's copy this into my clipboard. Now, what I'm going to do from here is run over to GitHub Copilot app. And I want to work with an empty folder. We're going to kind of start completely from scratch. So let's do a new folder here, and we'll just call this Weather App MAI 1.1. And that'll let us, have a starting point. And then I'm just going to throw this planning document in there. I like to make a folder called .plans, so it stays at the top. And inside of there, we will add this file. So let's just call it plan.markdown, and we'll paste in what I had in my clipboard. Now we'll open the plan here in just a sec, and I'll kind of show you the basics of it. And I'm going to go ahead and add that folder. So we'll say local folder. We'll go into our test and weather app MAI 1.1. And I have a new session. Now notice I'm already on MAI Code 1.1 Flash. Obviously, there's a lot of other options. Like I said, I did a video about Grok 4.5 in this type of scenario, 1.0 in this type of scenario, things like that. But what I'm going to do is we're going to kick this off first off, because we already have a plan. And I'll show you that while it's working. But I'm going to kick this off in medium mode. We'll see how it does. We'll just see what it generates. We'll kind of try it out. So I'm going to say use the .plans to build out the app. Super vague, but the plan's pretty detailed. Now in the meantime, I'm going to hit this little VS Code icon. And here we go. All right, so the general idea, if you didn't see any of the previous videos, is a production quality weather view website. And it's kind of just a 5-day forecast, but it's going to have things like Celsius to Fahrenheit, dark and light themes or modes, whatever you want to call them, toggles, and those type of things. It should have a text box where you can type in a city, but it should also use geolocation. So you'll see it's fairly detailed. I won't say it's the most detailed plan I've ever done, but it's fairly detailed. I mean, it even goes in, let me see where that was, a little bit down. There we go, right there. It even kind of generally maps out the files, things like that. So let's go on back, and I'm going to speed this up, but I'll give you kind of the total time it took to build this out. And keep in mind, it's not just a super simple plan. There's a fair amount to it. This is a lightweight Flash model. So let's see how it does. So it looks like it's doing a lot of testing behind the scene, which is great. Editing as it finds different issues, I suspect. Now, while this is going, if you're new to GitHub Copilot app, you'll notice there's a plan over here. And if we click on that, you can see the different steps it's going through right now. So it's already scaffolded out actually, and it's working through these other items, but that's super nice. You can also view, if we go to background, you can see what it's doing. It's going to be a local static server here in a moment. And it looks like final validation. So, all right, that was super quick. You'll notice here we have a local host, so we can go actually try it out. Now, normally when I'm in the browser that's built in here, geolocation may or may not work. We'll try it. We might have to jump to a browser though. Let's do use my location, and let's see what happens here. It's definitely not foggy where I live. Nice and clean though. I mean, it did exactly what it said. Now, I don't like the light and dark, although it works. That's kind of a ridiculous big button. Looks like this works. A little weird over there. So let me jump out to the browser here. We'll go back over to this guy. Let's paste it in. All right, there we go. So let's do just this time. Let's see if it'll actually work. Okay, that's probably about right. Oh, okay, the button's not as bad. So we do have some responsive issues. So we could go through and do that, but let's go back into dark mode. Okay, not bad. I'm in Fahrenheit where I live. So yeah, that's 100% accurate for the day. It's supposed to start raining a little bit. Excellent. For how fast that built it, that's impressive. Because like I said, this was like maybe a little over 3 minutes, and that includes all the tests. Now, it's obviously not a massive app, but it did have a pretty robust plan. But let's test it out here. Let's do Rome, Italy. I've not really tried it with that, but let's see here. Okay, yeah, so let's do just Rome. I'm not sure if it'll do international on this or not. Okay, it looks like it did, although it didn't really load it, I don't think. Well, that could be the temperature actually in Rome. I don't know. We'd have to go look it up. I'll tell you what, let's do like Seattle, because that's going to be a little cooler. We'll refresh, and let's go to Fahrenheit. Yeah, actually, that's probably about right. Good for you folks in Seattle. Looks like it might be actually sunny, which summers are pretty amazing there. Let's try like Orlando, Florida. Let's try it with just a state code. Okay, yeah, that worked too. And yeah, thunderstorms are pretty common there. So that is not bad, folks. I'm going to have to say, I'm doing this all on the fly. I literally haven't gone through this even once. Now, let's try to make it a little better, though. We probably need an icon that represents like the app icon. Let's see what it can do there if I just give it general instructions. For dark and light, this certainly works totally, fine. Let's go back and add a few extra things, though. So let me close this down. And let's say I'd like an app icon to be up in the header to the left of the title. So let's do that first. In fact, let's make these bullet points and we'll be a little more official here. Let's say I'd like to have an icon for dark light mode versus a regular button. And then add in wind, humidity, and chance of rain or something like that. All right, let's see what it does here. And I'll speed this up in the video, but you can keep an eye on the time here and kind of see where it ends up. So you can see it's editing the HTML, the JavaScript, the styles, going into the tests. Excellent. Now it's running the tests. Okay, so that was about 1:20. Who knows how it did, but let's go take a look here. So let's refresh. Okay, this is excellent. That's exactly what I kind of wanted. We have a nice little icon there. Yeah, chance of rain, wind, humidity, all that type of stuff. Excellent. Let's go into Orlando. Humidity 0 is not right, though. We do have some humidity. It is a dry heat in Arizona, but not that dry. Let's go to Orlando and see what it says. Okay, so humidity's broken. So let's go back. I'm just going to say, looks like humidity. Check that. I could have put all this in the plan. I didn't, but I could have, and we could have knocked it out probably one shot. But I want to go back and forth just to see, like if you do edits, what's the time frame we're looking at here? So we're about 30 seconds so far. Okay, so it looks like it did a test for humidity. It found the issue. It was reusing stale cached forecast data. Okay, excellent. Is that true? Let's go see. So let's refresh. Looks like this goes back to where I'm at. The only thing I don't like is it really doesn't say the city, does it? Okay, let's tell it. Make sure to add the city for the weather being shown. Now that's something I'd have to go back and check the plan, because if I don't have it in there, I probably should. But should be a quick update, I would think. All right, back to running some tests, which I love that it's just built in and doing that. Okay, well, let me see here. Let me make sure the server's restarted. Okay, let's go back to Orlando. Let's see if I type it in, if it'll do it. Okay, it did. Looks like they used my location, could use some more work. We could fix that, of course, but all right, that's exactly what I want. So now let's go in, let's do like New York. And okay, very nice. Not bad at all. So this is actually calling the Open Media API, by the way. That's in the plan. You can get that from the initial repo I showed. But I'm going to have to say, for being a very small Flash model, this is pretty impressive so far. The speed is what's really standing out. I mean, this is like super quick. And if we go on up in GitHub Copilot app, you can go up here and we can see, so it used 11.1 AI credits, which is actually really good. Very, very minimal. You can see my tokens and all that fun stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say, from a speed standpoint, from what it generated, while it wasn't perfect, part of that is just I probably needed to put that in the plan itself. Not bad at all though. So definitely worth trying out, and something that I think, these days we all love to gravitate towards the frontier models, and I'll admit I do the same. I'm using, as of today, GPT 5.6 a lot. I use Grok 4.5 a fair amount. Still use, Opus. But these are the type of models that, yeah, they're just getting better and better and better. So they're worth trying out, especially if you're trying to cut back on some of those AI credits. So there you have it. That's just a quick run through to give you an idea. And I'm going to sum it up by saying I'm extremely impressed with the speed. So I'm going to have to keep trying this out a little bit more. So thanks for watching.